in Bill McGurn from the Wall Street Journal. He's also a Fox News contributor. You know, to hell with the founding fathers. They had no idea what they were doing, trying to balance the little states with the big states. What do you think? Should we get rid of the Electoral College? What would that mean?
No, this is kind of classic Democrat prescription. Just the way they don't like the Supreme Court because of Trump's nominees and Republican nominees. So let's expand the number of Supreme Court seats or something. The Electoral College isn't going anywhere, and it's a good check. It's made to balance power in the U.S. and make sure that the small states are not just overwhelmed by a few very large states.
Yeah, I mean, you could just, if we go down this road where you just let the big states control everything, you can see all kinds of things changing if we, undid everything the founding fathers had made along this way. Government funding. I mean, there's all kinds of things that if you started down this slippery slope, what else could you see happening? Right.
Look, they're trying to say that it's a legacy of slavery, and even that's not true. They're conflating that 3/5 compromise where slaves were counted as 3/5 of a person for congressional representation and taxation. But they're not going to go anywhere because the small states are not going to give them the votes they need to do anything to the Electoral College. It's a good check on democracy, and the founders were very big that we were a republic as well, and it ensures a broad distribution. Otherwise, you'd have Elizabeth Warren, Donald Trump campaigning in Texas, New York, California, Illinois, maybe Pennsylvania, right? And the other places would really be flyover country.
Yeah. Some of her other proposals that were really smart. She wants to create a Department of Economic Development. I can't think of anything that would stifle growth more.
Yeah, I think the history is Department of Education, Department of Energy. Have those fields actually got better with these departments, or wouldn't we be a lot better off if we didn't have them? I mean, again, is the idea really that the federal government in Washington, D.C. knows how to allocate capital better than the market does? I think that's
it's literally the opposite of free market principles.
Right.
And she always says that she is, in fact, a capitalist, just a conscious capitalist or whatever. But if you want to develop a Department of Economic Development, then you are definitely not. She says that companies should be made to serve the public interest.
Right. Well, I sort of think they serve the public interest now, because how do you make a profit?
Yeah.
Serving the public. If you don't serve the public, if you don't produce the goods and services that the public wants at a price the public's willing to pay, you're going to be out of business. So again, this is just this belief that a ruling caste of people in the federal government know better than the hundreds of millions of decisions made every day by the American people.
And it sort of hits the nail on the head with that one, because if you say that companies should serve the public, how do you measure that?
I think it measures by what Elizabeth Warren wants.
Right.
And that frequently is what a few managers want. And so the entire company is used for their purposes to support their causes. Where when you give people what they want, then the people are happy with the product. The profits go into a lot of people, retirees, all sorts of people are benefit from it. So I think that this is very dangerous ground.
Yeah. No, if they aren't serving the public, they go out of business.
Right.
But with her, she's saying that then there should be some people in Washington who get to subjectively decide whether or not these companies are serving the public interest. And if it's her, that's great for her. But then she forgets that in the next administration, it could be Republicans that are deciding if companies are serving the public interest. And, they could put clean energy companies that aren't, that are just surviving on the government, they could put them out of business. So she fails to see how all of these things she's putting in place could just backfire on Democrats the next time around.
Yeah, and not even backfire. Think of what the government runs. The public schools in New York. I mean, these are the things they do. The problem is once you get on the government subsidies, they don't go out of business for their failure. They just stay in business forever. The Division of Motor Vehicles. Let's name one, the IRS. Let's try to name a service that the government runs that we all think, wow, that's really good.
Yeah.
Maybe the Marine Corps. But
yeah. And there are some good public schools in New York, but the post office.
Right.
I don't know about that one. DMV. Bill, thank you. Always brilliant. Appreciate it.